Help Save Our World Speak number 73, The Metaphysical. Why these non-physical stories, followed with some more clarity. Hello and welcome to our 73rd Help Save Our World online speakers meeting, where we are changing the conversation to change our world. I'm Dennis Moore, your host for today's 1-hour meeting. I'm here to guide you on your life and world transforming journey with this conversation based on my book, Beyond the Age of Ignorance, The Quest for the Truth, Change and Transformation. Empowering you to change your life and to help save our world through the process is the underlying purpose of this book and these meetings. Let's start with introductions. Alex?
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm based here in South Africa, and I'm on this journey to help change the minds of those who need to go on this journey and help save the world.
Thank you. Brendan?
Hi, I'm Brendan. I'm based in South Africa. I am on this journey and joining these meetings due to the fact that I would like to change people's outlook on the way the world and people within the world behave and open their eyes to how amazing nature can be.
Excellent. Thank you, Brendan. Now, before I begin, I would like to clarify the purpose of including this metaphysical realm and the stories of our experiences in these meetings. In our post-meeting discussion last week, I asked Kurt, should we continue telling these stories to create a fuller picture of the different types of experiences? Kurt then posed the question, what is the purpose of going through this as far as the entire concept we're working on to help save our world? And I know it's a journey, and I know there is a good rationale for it. Is the recounting of these stories relevant and purposeful in the amount of time that you're thinking about giving it to the flow of this entire series? Who are you thinking will watch these videos as a continuum? Or is it a pick and choose based on the topic heading? How is it going to be relevant to them? And of course, I'm coming from a teacher's perspective. But from a viewer's and learner's perspective, it's great that I heard it and I learned it. What's in it for me? Where does it affect me, or is it affecting me? How can I really get what he's saying to the point that this was a meaningful hour that I just spent? So in the longer continuum of what we are doing in these sessions, where would this fit in? And how many sessions will it take for you or us to get across the idea? Why were we spending the time on this concept? As another book or as another train of thought, where does it fit into these 70-odd sessions we have done? My response was, the idea here was through telling these stories, how do we make consciousness and the metaphysical real, whole again, natural and fundamental to everyday people around us? How do we make it known that this is reality? And it's not what we've been taught and all of these different experiences which are considered to be abstract and non-physical or ethereal or whatever, do not belong to the religions and are very real aspects of the nature of who and what we are, as well as it being the true nature of reality itself. So without empowering religions, without totally disempowering the sciences, because certain aspects of the sciences have given us the knowledge of trends, tools, and language, so we don't have to use the ethereal, mystical, religious control language or language of control. So the idea of telling these stories is to bring the abstract and the non-real into the real. I mean, we don't want to bring back the dark ages of oppressive, totalitarian religious dominance, but we don't want to keep empowering the destructive, objective, materialist, capitalists either. We want to find a place of awareness and understanding, having many informed perspectives, and make well thought out, precise use of language to fully realize what the truth is. Maybe it's somewhere in between, where we are all individually empowered to live in wholeness. So telling the stories, we legitimize the non-physical and the Venergy, the vibrations energy, the connectivity and the consciousness. We also empower the individuals and greater humanity with the truth, wholeness and oneness, without misdirecting personal power to the power mongers. That's why my comment about language. Language is so important, in fact, crucial to taking back our personal power. Kurt's response was, "Oh, I agree with that. And what you just said in 2 minutes right there, that's what I was asking for." Anyone want to comment on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with that, because the conscious universe, the vibrational energy that is around us, that we tap into, that we utilize on a daily basis, that is connected to us and giving us information and helping us see the world better, and warning us in advance of catastrophes about to happen. I mean, that is part of us. It is real. It is part of our being. It's bringing in those aspects into our daily lives, that we truly connect with life itself.
I agree 100%. That's awesome. Brennan, anyone?
No, I agree with what Alex has stated. I think it's a brilliant concept to discuss. And also, I agree with Kurt. The way you put it is like, it's perfect. Short and sweet.
That's awesome. Unfortunately, I'm going to carry on expounding on that concept, because there's so much more to it than just that short and sweet, sort of maybe not perfectly accurate, just like generalized comment, So if you don't mind, I'll continue with that. But thanks.
No, for sure. Awesome. I'm just saying, like, if you had to tell someone quickly, that short, sweet version, perfect.
Excellent.
But yes, by all means, expand.
All right, cool. Thanks. All right, so my purpose throughout this course, and especially in this chapter, is to empower you with the truth and with the knowledge and the skills and the wisdom, so that you can achieve life's mastery, to empower you to become the wholeness of who you are, what you are, where you come from, where you're going, to empower you with the rationale, the logical understanding of yourself and life, while raising your awareness and consciousness and natural wisdom, as well as giving you the perspective of an enlightened, wise essence who is choosing and living your life masterfully for the benefit of yourself and all of those around you, and all life and all of nature around you. Living your life to create the best energy tone you can be. Alex was talking about it, your chia or kia or chi, but your energy tone, I feel, is the ultimate purpose of life. We come into life with a certain energy tone. We have no material possessions. We live our lives and go through our lives, and we get to the end of our lives, and what do we leave with? We just leave with that energy tone, who we have become. So I think life is that journey of self-mastery. Living in alignment with your creative force and the flow of the creative force of nature, adding to that force and becoming a force of nature yourself through the process, is what I'm trying to do. I had to get you to tell your stories because we've been indoctrinated to believe that all stories are lies. I wish to reinforce the importance of your careful thought through and mindful use of language, while empowering you with the confidence to speak about the unspeakable, questionable, and to skillfully and confidently tell your stories again, so that they spread through word of mouth and spread our whole organization and movement and what we're trying to achieve here through word of mouth. The power of telling stories is legendary. The nonsense belief that all stories are lies is the reason why it's so important to tell your stories mindfully and truthfully without exaggeration. Because exaggeration, of course, is seen as lies. And yet still telling your stories well and in the most descriptive and expressive ways you can, using metaphors and painting mental images of your story to your audiences, telling your stories in the present moment as if you were living them in the here and now is magnetic, relatable, and powerful. And I suggest that you read The Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell, or even watch it on video, to teach you all about storytelling and the structure of a well-rounded story. It's awesome to watch or read. Any comments, Alex?
I think it's important to tell your story. I think it's important for people to know who you are and your expression and your energy expression, your energy tone, who you are on the inside, than putting forth a fake face and a fake perception of who you are just to be like, and then overdoing certain exaggerating features just to show that you care just that extra bit more than anyone else, so you must love me more. Like, for example, howdy do, just like really going overboard on bringing forth a fake persona towards you. And I think being true to yourself, being true to your story, and being true to you is extremely important going forward.
I love that. I love that. I mean, you bring in so many amazing concepts there. It's, people can see through your exaggeration and your lies, and they can see it in your eyes. It's like, why not be like 100% true to your authentic self? And people see that and they fully relate to that. But if you're not being true, like I was just saying to Alex that your eyes are the mirror of your soul. And if you exaggerate, people pick up on it. I mean, body language will betray you every time. And yesterday I was telling a story about me surfing. And I couldn't quite remember because I hadn't told the story for a long time. But what I did was, instead of saying, I had 3 waves, because I was pretty sure that I had taken 3 waves in the story, but I got to it. Now it's just that moment of uncertainty. And I said, I think I had 2 waves. So instead of going for the extreme, or going for, maybe that was like my uncertainty, because I hadn't told for so long, but I chose to go down 1 instead of up 1. And I think instead of gaining more credibility, I didn't lose credibility. And I think that's really more important. Alex, anything?
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. I mean, you have to be authentic. You have to, I mean, what you remember a million years ago is not necessarily what you 100% remember now. I mean, your story does change slightly, and it will. As you understand more of the situation, what it was, what that feeling was, being able to express those feelings better or differently as you get older, your story does change, and it's still authentic to you. It's still who you are. It's still your being. And as long as you stay true to your being, your story will remain true, even if it does change slightly over time on how you express it, how you bring forth that imagery of going down that wave or feeling that experience might change over the course of many years as you learn a better language or learn different words in your language to express that better. So it's just stay true to yourself.
Yeah, that's awesome. Brennan?
As a kid, you tend to tell stories, but you tell stories a lot less exaggerated, not exaggerated, but a lot less detailed. A lot less detailed than what you would as an adult, due to the fact that as an adult you know more of the English language, so you can describe it better. You know how to form sentences to give that extra expression on your story. And that's exactly what Alex just said, is like you learn how to, you're still telling the same story, it's just you learn how to make it sound better by expressing it better.
As you become more skilled. I like that. I like that. Yeah, I had to say to myself, is this story too long or too short, or the right story for this moment, and so on. And once I was out in the telling the story, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm making it too long, but I have to tell it. And, anyway, so there's a whole lot of skills and talents to incredible storytelling, and making it suit the moment, and not telling stories from your ego, but telling them from, I don't know, a loving, this is my gift to you sort of thing, without it being like, oh, I'm so special because I'm giving them this gift, but just making it a magical moment for somebody. There's a lot to storytelling. I absolutely love it. Anyone else? We'll move on.
Yeah, you can move on.
All right. We've been brainwashed by science and mathematics to believe we live in an absolutist, mechanistic, material, solid world, and that the metaphysical is not real. It's just untrue. Now, science has been progressing lately in recent years with expansion of all different forms of experimentation, with, connecting of probes to our head and turning them into electrical signals and sensing brain activity and so on. So, and even electromagnetic sensing and so on. So it is growing into this place of the metaphysical. Then on the other end of the spectrum from the sciences is religion, that has gained and sustained its power through persuasion and indoctrination of humans into ignorance through fear and blind belief and abstract ideas and beliefs and lies and deception, to achieve mind control and behavior control, more specifically, and of course, world domination of humanity throughout the world. They do this by creating the belief that they, the religions, know and have legitimate access to the ethereal through their institutionalized systems of power. We also know that objective, materialistic, mathematical, capitalistic-driven sciences has forged their power by being in opposition to religions, and have staked out their dominion in the material world, where religions control the ethereal, sciences control the material, all for the sake of marking out their territory of power, and all for the sake of wealth and power. Then the money creators and the bankers have centralized dominion of wealth in capital and in banking. They also influence and collaborate with the capitalists and the owners of big money, property, and corporations, and the wealthy special interest groups, who, with their institutionalized corporations, with their wealth and power, influence and control most of what happens in our world. Then governments are influenced by these special interests, and they are the enforcement arm of those systems. They have the tools and systems and institutions of power to perpetuate that power-based structure of the wealthy, the religions, the governments. It's this whole wealthy few controlling the whole of humanity with their power and money and institutionalized ways of thinking. However, we also know that scientists, those that have good intent, have been making amazing contributions to our knowledge with their non-religious use of language to promote the logical understanding of our reality of our time. but it isn't necessarily totally correct or a comprehensive understanding, as it is controlled and lags behind what we already know to be real and true. The ethos gives us the feeling as individuals that unless science has legitimized it with a provable theory, it isn't true, which is so not true. Because of science's predispositions, their values and beliefs, and limitations in thought, so that they don't step on the religion's toes and religions in the other directions, which underlies all of the science's power and credibility, has been used for and against science by special interest groups within the organization. And you have like religious materialist scientists who are like pushing the agenda in that direction. And then you have the scientists who purely care about science and being honest and true and so on, pushing in the other direction. It's like you have the objective materialists pushing the particle theories in science in the subatomic realm. And then you have the wave theorists who have been pretty much oppressed by the material particle theories, where wave and that nature of reality is fundamentally the nature of our reality. And then we have another factor that's a huge factor. Money and corporations like the military industrial complex often direct the sciences, and so do religions and governments, by funding and supporting only theories that will be able to be marketed or promoted to gain more wealth and power. It's like, that isn't why we should be investing in science. It should be purely for the betterment of our world and our planet. If that was the motivation, it would be so much better. With all this in mind, we also know that we do not want to return to the dark ages of ignorance caused by the total domination of religions over human thought. This has left us caught in a power struggle of the lack of understanding of who and what we are, a lack of widespread reason and personal wholeness and personal power. Because as individual humans, we have given up our personal power of choice, knowledge, awareness, consciousness, natural wisdom, and enlightenment to these other power-based systems, as well as knowing the complexity of who and what you are and how to master your life's energy, vibrational energy, and states of consciousness without dependence on religions, the sciences, or some other form of dependent addictions like distraction and drugs. You see, mastering your own independent thinking, reasoning, life, and consciousness is vital to you becoming the best energy or energy being you can be. And that's what we're trying to achieve. Anybody? Alex?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a case of don't allow religions and governments and sciences to take away who you are. I mean, you are energy, you're connected to energy. The information you're receiving is real, it's legit, it's coming to you. And you are reading it in the ways that you need to read it or accept it within your lifestyle. They don't need to put it under the category of their spiritual beings and their scientific, or this is your mind doing X, Y, and Z to you, and that's what it's forming this. They're not allowed to take that away from you. You are an expression of who you are, and they have no right to own any part of you.
I love that. That really brings it to the fore. It's like, this is about you taking back your power. What do you think?
Absolutely. Take back your power. They don't deserve it, and they don't need it. They're institutions designed to increase power within their own organizations by taking little pieces away from you. So take back your power, take responsibility and acceptance of your energy tone. and be the person you need to be.
It also brings it more clearly. It's like you take back your power, you take back your energy, where you're going to spend it. You take back your choices of what you're going to focus on and what you are going to become, and become the master of the control of your consciousness and your energy and your power and everything. I think that's awesome. Brennan?
No, nothing from my side. I think Alex pretty much covered it all, eh?
All right, cool. In our Help Save Our World course, based on my book, Beyond the Age of Ignorance, The Quest for the Truth, Change and Transformation, so we can transition to the age of reason. When first writing my book, I wrote it intuitively from my life's experiences, from intuition that I received, from dreams, and from intense research. And of course, yeah, I mean, everything I'd ever studied in my life before that, because I was an engineer and a teacher and everything else that I had done before that. Now, going through this process as a course to teach others, my approach has had to change. It's about you, not my experience. And a lot of what I've learned has improved since I first wrote my book in my late 20s. The purpose of this book is to reveal the truth to you and to empower you and humanity to create a happy, healthy, and sustainable future where we all thrive, living as aware, conscious, and connected human beings, where we are all enlightened and wise, where we all live our lives in love, balance, and harmony, living in the truth or living by the truth and in wholeness as one with nature, connected in relationships to it, to all life and to our world, and of course to the universe. It's like there is no interrupt or disconnect. We are of the universe within it. Living your life guided by the secret natural wisdom that's always existed, and that is the creative force, that love-based, feminine, creative force of the universe. Through this process, you're changing your perspective of yourself and how you could live your life, beginning to live your life as a conscious creator of your own life. And mastering the skills of consciousness and connectedness is vital to your life and to you learning how to help save our world. As Kurt put it in his training, my process or technique is to continuously enforce the why. Because sometimes we can get so deep in the weeds that they are good weeds, and we forget why I'm in the weeds and why are we going through this. So it gets to be reinforced and represented often. It's nice that we experience things in the story and what we're doing with it. There's a phrase Kurt often uses, that's what, so what does it mean, now what? Or that's what, so what, now what? The question here is the teaching or the training reason for reawakening humanity to the truth and the magical nature of metaphysical storytelling. If it is not for promoting religion's power or demoting scientific technological power, what is its purpose? It is to empower you with the truth, knowledge, awareness, consciousness, natural wisdom, and enlightenment to create the best version of yourself so you can help save our world and create a happy, healthy, sustainable future age of reason that we all deserve to live in. Living your best life, accountable, responsible, growing your relationships with everyone and everything, creating wholeness and oneness, rediscovering the who and what you are, where you come from and where you're going. So you cannot be lied to, manipulated, distracted, separated, turned against others. So you and we can create an age of reason beyond this age of ignorance. Empowered with all of this wisdom and perspective, you'll once again gain the understanding of your function and purpose as a sower and a creator of a better future life for all. Alex, comments?
I'm happy with that. Bringing into focus, understanding what it is, and showing people how they can be better for it. So that's the purpose. That's the idea.
Cool. So why I chose to make it about your stories? I can tell many stories of my magical, mystical life's journey through which you would fully get what I'm trying to say or convey. But it's not about me. And you telling your stories would achieve the same thing, and it would be more relatable to you, even if it took a bit longer to tell these stories in these meetings. But then, as we were going through it, I realized there was a little bit of resistance by some, and that it would take a longer period of time to do well in these meetings. So after Kurt and I's discussion last week, considering everything we discussed, we concluded that saving most of our stories for another book would be our best option. Bearing this all in mind, to make you feel complete, is there anything or something you would like to add to these stories that you feel is important at this stage of the journey? And I'm thinking about our discussion that we had about our energy tone and sound bowls and that meditative music you were looking at, and your chia or key that you were talking about, Alex.
I've got the dog demanding my attention in the background, so if you hear barking and growling, shush.
Hello, Lorna. How are you?
Good morning, everybody.
Hey. Morning. We're just
Hey,
waiting.
Lorna.
Hi, Alex.
How are you doing?
I am. Let's put it that way. I am.
I fully understand. I've got a few people in my life at the moment that are currently surviving, living, being, but not fully connecting at the moment. And that has been my driving force, and conversations with them recently is, whatever's going on in your life at the moment, it's the conscious universe putting you under pressure to do certain things, to make certain choices, and to get a certain response out of you. Whether it's putting you under financial pressure so that you put together your CV and you get your CV out there, or putting you under pressure with your friends and family so that you go out and you make new friends and new family. It's all a push and pull of energy within us and driving us forward to make the decisions that we need to make to move forward on our path that we decided and chose before we were born. And it's incredibly important to understand that we're not just going through, oh, life is just being difficult to me and, everything's just going wrong. It's not a negative thing. It's certain doors closing and certain doors opening. And you've now got to make a choice on which doors you want to enter through and make those choices, make those changes and follow through with them and be dedicated to them. Step up, be willing, no changes on the horizon, and action it. Be there and action it. One of the conversations I had recently was a friend of mine I've made at karate. And she's this wonderful human being, athletic, energetic, confident, but obviously she's just struggling to get into the whole karate flow and the karate movements. So I invited her over and we're going to run through a few of the katas and a few of the movements together just to get her more confident and being more within the karate tone and the energy being that karate brings to you. I mean, karate is more than just a fighting sport. It's an energy tone. It's a kia. It's an energy expression. And like I was explaining to her, she needs to find her kia, her karate kia, which is an energy expression of who she is. It's a karate energy expression of who she is. It could be her kia. Choosing her kia could be the difference between a fight or not a fight. It could be the difference between her passing or failing. It's putting yourself into that energy tone, that energy expression, and showing who you are on the inside. your energy expression on the inside, bringing it forth in, showing your energy tone on the inside by bringing it forth into an energy expression. Now, this energy expression is a shout. You know, it's a demand of your being coming forth in a verbal expression. It's a hiya, or it's an expression of your energy tone. You got to find it. It doesn't sound the same for every individual person. It's different across the board. One of my Sensei Christine, relayed a story to us, and she was confronted with an intruder on her property. And she went into fasting stance and she expressed her kia, her energy tone. And he took one look at her and heard her kia, her energy expression, and turned tail and ran. He was not going to take her on because she expressed this energy of, I am now going to fight you. I have accepted this position and I'm ready to take you on. Hear me, see me, and feel me, was the response that she gave. And he chose in that moment that she was more scary than and the situation suddenly became more scary. And just so that you are aware, she's a petite little woman. I mean, she's about 50, but she is petite. She's shorter than me. She's skinnier than me. She's definitely a lot fitter than any one of us. And she kicks our butts in the warm-ups. But she is a small woman, and she takes on the world. And it's just that show of expression that just brings life to the karate, to the energy, to being there, that just makes all the difference altogether.
I think what it's doing there is it's like expressing the power of your presence and intent. It's like we are energy beings, but if all of our energy is focused on one intent and we're totally committed, and it comes through in our cry, our scream, our shout, or your kia, then it's making your opponent or your threat aware of the power of your intent and your commitment to it. So I love that. Lorna?
That was powerful, Alex. Very powerful. I took notes. I used to take Taekwondo when I was young, and I remember the Kia. And it was powerful, but so long ago, but why not, take it all, take it again, and expression. Express.
Absolutely.
Yes. I remember I felt
express
really
who you
good.
are.
Yeah, I remember, yes, it was very delicious when it was okay to let out that sound, of kia, would come from the diaphragm, I remember. And it was a nice release. It was fun too, and I knew I could express myself like that. I stopped because I got pregnant. And back in the days, that was a no-no. So, but yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We appreciate you being here, Lorna.
Thank you. And I pretty much am very expressive. But somehow, lately I have been not forcing to be expressive, but not that natural. Part of it has to be some physical situation, with my articulations and knees. But I think I'm doing good according to the situation. That is over a year already. I haven't not get into I never had one, but some people, panic attacks and stuff. No, so I'm just very thankful, for the tools, that I got from myself, from you guys, from my reading. I don't know what I would do without that, because, and that goes along with the subject today, the why metaphysical, right?
Mhm.
Why metaphysical, and that makes a whole sense for me. Says the title of today, because the physical alone is not enough. Is not enough, and where I find my strength, even when I don't feel like today I'm slow, right? That's where I go beyond the physical, and there's so many ways, right, to go about it. So
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, they call it different things. Like I call it your energy tone, or your essential energy, and in some places it's called your chi, in different parts of the world. And then, like, living your life to be feng shui, to be living within your energy flow, and to have your environment flowing and in harmony with your chi. And then literally being a master of your connectivity to the non-physical and communicating. It's all about focusing your intent and channeling and accepting information from other non-physical sources. It really is all about the magic. Really, it is magic, because it's this realm of consciousness and dreams. And I was like writing like a list of possibilities and things, of stories to tell. And I think we'll do it as another journey as we go on in this topic. But I think of consciousness like before life, because the idea of reincarnation is very real to me. So before life, and then being your connectivity to your mother's womb, and basically relating the need for say water or food, or what type of food, and like your mother's like, oh, I've got to eat nuts, or I've got to eat whatever. That's you, or your physiology, consciously connecting and relating this need for whatever nutrient it is in that, and she interprets it and says, I need nuts, or I need apples, or I need this ice cream, whatever. So there's this real conscious connection before life, like in the womb. And then, of course, as we leave the room and we start to learn language and so on, and we start talking to these unseen friends that adults can't see, but like they're very real. So we're still consciously connected to the non-physical, and we're living as though that's real until we've sort of like got our feet on the ground and become totally part of this physical world. And then we go on and we experience things like deja vu as we walk through life. It's like, oh, I've been here before. I've seen this. And you've never been there in your life. Well, in this life, you haven't. So it's like this vision of everything being as it was when you were there previously. And then premonitions. I had premonitions throughout my childhood of future events. I would like see a future event and I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is what's going to happen. And then I would say something. And if I said something, it became real. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, a day or whatever later, bam, it happened. And I soon realized, because this happens so often, that I had to say to myself, hey, I can't say anything. And I've got to be careful what I say, because it makes it real. So I get really upset when people say things that are ominous and they shouldn't be saying about other people or to other people, because the moment you say it, you're actually putting it out there, and it very likely will become real. Then, of course, dreams. Dreams to me are the most amazing things, like lucid dreaming, like dreaming in full color videos if I'm in the dream, and then being chased by lions and being trapped in the dream at the edge of a cliff and having to jump and then falling off the double bed and hitting the floor, but not even feeling any pain. But then like dreams like being trapped in a dream, and you know that you are alive and you know that it's a dream, but you can't get yourself to break with the unconsciousness of sleep and become and get back into the physical world. I used to have so many of those. And I eventually developed a technique to say, hey, look, I know I'm dreaming and I know I'm dreaming, and I still couldn't get out. I was trapped. And then, of course, repetitive dreams, like keeping me aligned with my life's purpose, and then flying dreams, most magnificent flying dreams. And then like vision of like supernatural vision of like being up on a huge cliff and looking down through into the ocean and seeing the crayfish's tentacles, and absolutely magical. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. But I'm nowhere near where the crayfish is. It's like, whoa. And then a skill is like, you get into a dream and you really love that dream and you like replay it. You say, okay, now I'm going back to the top of the stream and floating down the river over the rocks, and the water's so warm and I love it and I just want to do it again and again. And I keep on like playing in my dreams, and then learning how to remember your dreams and bring them into the physical world and writing them down. That's a whole nother thing of learning about how to bring that non-physical into the physical. It's absolutely amazing. Then, of course, daydreaming. I was always a daydreamer, so always in like a meditative state. And then, of course, you have extreme fear dreams, and then inspiring wisdom and life's insights. And dreams are this like magical realm that it's very real that we do dream, but it's like, what are dreams? And people have these sort of, oh no, they only have these particular meanings and whatever. And really it's not that to that degree. Yes, it is. They're usually symbolic, but usually it's based on your life and your interpretation of them. So that's another magical realm. So the nature of dreams are personal journeys and creations, often related to the desire to achieve or attain something, or the guidance necessary to help you avoid something from happening. So brilliant guidance comes through from your ancestors and other non-physical beings. They can be just like dreams can be the housekeeping of life. Just as REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, is designed to like organize your mind. Like you have this crazy amount of information coming in, and it's like, you get to the end of the day and you've got too much going on. And in the night, it just like sorts out everything, puts everything on shelves and organizes it in your brain chemistry and everything. And you wake up in the morning feeling like reset. And proof of this is as a result of dream deprivation in prisoner of war camps, the prisoners went insane. And I know when I was near suicidal at one stage, as I wasn't sleeping, and then when I went to the mountains for 10 days and slept continuously for like 6 days and recovered all of my REM sleep, I regained my sanity. So it's really, really, really important to dream. And then waking up in the morning, one of the most amazing things is the intuitive insights and the clarity of perception that I get just as I'm transitioning from dreaming to being awake. And that is such an incredible source of knowledge and wisdom, which I put into all of my writings. So then, of course, fear dreams and intuition, awakening intuitive thoughts, clarity of perception. Like you're driving in the car and you just have this amazing insight downloaded to you, and then going on long walks. And I always try and take a little notebook with me and a pen when I go on long walks. And I like jot down, like I get this inspirational insight. It's like, yay! And I write it down, because it's only when you write it down that you're bringing it into this world. And then if you go and you put it into your books or whatever you're writing, then it becomes an institution to perpetuate itself into the future. So our life is also about bringing in the magic of love and balance and harmony and all of these magical things and making them part of this world, giving them as a gift to this world. And then I've got a few more and then I'm going to stop. Naturally connecting to nature, like tree hugging is something I love doing. It's like the tree has its own chi, it has its own energy. And then talking to trees and all life around you, when you get to this sort of level of consciously connecting, you can literally speak to the trees and they speak back to you. And then just living my life and having incredibly like eerie, fearful moments, like absolute terror, my hair standing up all over my back, and literally just walking through an old defunct monastery, which we lived in, but there was like another section of the dormitories. Walking through it, I have never been so scared in all my life. It was as if something just absolutely insane was happening there, before it became defunct. And then even worse than that was to go around underneath the monastery. Oh my gosh, I have never been so terrified in perfectly good daylight in all my life. And I was, I don't know, I was about, 15, 16. So I was like a rational, well-rounded human being, but the terror that was felt or experienced by me in those places is just absolutely insane. And I mean, of course, I can tell stories and stories and stories about all of those things. And then the connections during life, how to enhance those connections. So this is really what we're doing here, is we're trying to work out how to enhance those skills of remembering dreams and connecting to our ancestors and our guides and other non-physical consciousness. And it's really about learning all of those skills to become a whole channeling human being. Connecting to our guides, or what I sometimes call interveners, when your guides actually intervene in your conscious thought or whatever, just to say, hey, what you're doing here is not going to work out for you. And then connecting to my ancestors, connecting to family that have passed, like Shannon and I spoke about the other day. And then there are people who specialize in these things, like mediums and so on, who, if you can't do it yourself, you can go to them and ask them to do it for you. But there's nothing more incredible than being skilled enough to do it yourself. All right, I've spoken. We are now at 5:04. Anybody want to tell a story or put in anything? Go ahead.
I want to share. I'm awake now. Intuition. I love that one. I just love it. It's like a toy. I dare myself, it's like a constant, thing that I do with any type of situations. I said, as somebody asked me, you want to get something? I say, yeah, don't tell me. It's just, I have been testing myself a lot, and it's so wonderful. How I got there, I don't remember, but I know that the minute I say, no, I'm going to use my intuition, or I even don't say it, it's just, manifest, right? And I have to say, out of 10, 9 times, it's just what it is. So I have that care about that one a lot. I rely, is a better word, right? I rely on that one. And the other thing I want to say, one friend one time, she passed already, but as a goodbye present, she gave me a notebook, a very tiny notebook. And when I opened it, it should have empty pages. But the title of that little notebook was The Book of Nothing.
Of what?
And The Book of Nothing.
Oh, okay.
Of nothing. So I asked, and I said, Teresita, thank you, but I don't understand. This is like maybe 15 years ago or more, maybe. Yeah, more than 20. And instead, because that's all you need in life. Don't think about don't acquire nothing that is not yours, which we were talking about. Just, you'll find your own answer, you'll be your own master, you'll be your own this and that and that. And I didn't understand it back then, but I guess intuition is part of it, as everything that you just talk, So she was very wise. And last comment I want to say is the background that you have, which is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's one of the things that I ask myself if I get too accelerated on something, or I ask myself, am I going downstream? That's what I love your background. I'm going upstream. And that very quickly put me back going downstream, which is allowing, right? And let go. So I love that. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, that's a beautiful analogy. Or the thing is when it comes to creating your best self and living your life to become the best possibility of who you can, then flowing in harmony, love, balance, and harmony with nature, and sort of going with that flow is perfect. It's like that's what you need to be doing, and that will give you your best life. But just accepting the status quo and the issues we have with the world and just flowing with that's not acceptable. It's like you got to choose the magical side and the wonderful creation or creative being that you can be, and be that creator, so I love that analogy.
With regards to being an intuitive being, I wish I was more intuitive. I did have a little bit of one moment like 2 weeks ago where I kind of like felt like, it was going to hail, the big raindrops started to fall. The temperature didn't drop like it was supposed to, like for hail. But as I was traveling home, the last sort of like kilometer, as I got closer and closer to home, I just had this like heaviness on my chest, like impending doom coming, As I parked the car, I didn't even take anything out of the car. I just ran inside the house and just started getting blankets and stuff to cover the car and things like that, because it was going to hail. And as I walked outside with the blankets, so the hail started to fall down. So it definitely is something I would need to work on and need to tap into more. And I'd love to just be more aware and more connected in that aspect. But it's something I know I need to grow on. But yeah, it's just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Let me just comment a little bit on that. I know we're running out of time. In my case I didn't want to trust, right? It came from not trusting the answers, to look like a fool or to not being right or to whatever, right? That's what for me, how it was. I want to be like a lot of people, right? But when it came to intuition, there's nothing that I realized, with the time that doesn't have to do with that at all. So you just got to start doing it, no matter if it's right or it's not, because you're training that part of you that it has not been used. At least that's what happened to me. So therefore, it doesn't. Oh, really? Are you gonna use me today? Are you really? You trust me now? So, and then it became secondary to be right or not. So that's how it happened to me, to let go. It's not right. It's not right. That's okay. It will be in its time. But I kept doing it. And it becomes a lot of fun. You'll see.
Oh, I absolutely love it. Just this whole realm of consciousness and everything to me is absolutely magical. Anyway, so we've come to the end of our hour and some. So please like and share and comment, and I will post this video as soon as I can. So as soon as it's up there, if you share and like and comment, of course, it's going to make a big difference to our numbers on the internet. And of course, it'll make this spread further. I would appreciate your input there. Thank you very much, everyone. And bye for now. You're welcome to stay and talk if you want.